So many are struggling to get back on their feet during the pandemic. Aggressive landlords are trying to kick out tenants for non-payment during the crisis. Some have no options and are still out of work. 3 News Now investigator Jeff Van Sant has the story.
Evictions are up as the pandemic continues, an economy still getting back on its feet. Many face a struggle most couldn't imagine.
I can't just move. It's you can't find a place. My finances don't back me up. They want 3 times the rent, 2 times the rent. I've got 3 kids.
Jane is facing an eviction. She lost her waitressing job as COVID-19 hit.
I'm rushing around like everybody else in this world at the time. Toilet paper, making sure we've got food. We don't know if we're going to have, who knows anything at that time.
She says that her landlord is indifferent to her situation and that he wanted his rent, no questions asked.
And it's scary to be a single mom out here, and then you got a guy harassing you constantly, and I'm like, look, I'm telling you, I have paid every month. You've never not gotten paid. You've promised me things that you haven't come through with.
Jane shows us the conditions she's living in, a mice problem, droppings in the kitchen, behind her fridge.
I think this house is infested with mice, droppings in the vents, and my kids were getting sick to where we were staying at my mom's once in a while just to get out of the house.
Plumbing problems, holes like this one under the sink. Jane says the landlord isn't doing anything about it. She's had to pay money out of her own pocket to fix the AC, using her entire stimulus check. Finding money to feed her kids and pay bills, it's all just too much. And while all this is going on, her kid's father dies suddenly.
And their father dies 2 weeks after not even 2 weeks after the whole COVID thing comes out. He's at my door trying to kick me out. And we're in such shock that we're like, how can you even be at my door right now? And he knows about this. He knew about it. He was told about it. And he just handed me the paper didn't even care, just greed is just all is in his face.
In late March, Governor Ricketts ordered a halt to evictions by those affected by COVID-19. It expired May 31st. Since then, eviction filings have jumped.
We saw dozens more filings in the Douglas County Court, such that there was an excess of 110, close to 120 eviction hearings just in that first week of June.
Scott Mertz is with Legal Aid Nebraska. He's taken on Jane's case, a case he sees all too often.
Nebraska right now is in a minority of states in the country that thinks it's fine to just continue to evict people for non-payment of rent during this public health emergency.
On the federal level, the CARES Act is passed in late March, which in part protects 1 in 4 Americans who have a federally backed mortgage and tenants who live in properties that participate in federally backed programs. That ends in August. This is what Scott plans to fight for in Jane's case.
If you couldn't pay all your rent on or after March 13, you shouldn't have a hearing before May 31. You could, and hundreds were still sued during that period, and some were even evicted prior to May 31. But a lot of those cases were just continued out to after May 31.
For Jane, life is tough, day after day.
They have been through so much in this past year that this is just like, my 14-year-old asked me, Mom, how much more? How come? Why?
Jane asks us not to reach out to her landlord over fears of some kind of retaliation. She says she's not trying to stay in the house. She just wants a little more time to get things together and find another place to live. Jeff Van Sant, 3 News Now.
Jane is scheduled to appear in eviction court on Wednesday. For more on this story and all our investigative team stories, go to our website, 3newsnow.com. And if you have a story idea for them, email it to investigate@3newsnow.com.